'Cause I don't wear my heart up on my sleeve. Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same, but every time I hear your name, my worries disappear. It's all because of you, yeah. I feel the way I do.
Bye.